It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Concierge Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs.
Good morning and welcome to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. How are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
But you not so much. You're having troubles with your phone, your cell phone, right?
I am. I bought one of those new smarter than me phones, and it turns out it's very smart.
Is that what
I
they're
just
called?
can't figure it out. That's what I call it.
Okay.
I'm having battery problems. It drains the battery really quickly.
Yeah, it seems to do that. I've noticed that with my phone. You got to always be plugging it in.
Yeah.
Not like the ones that I used to have back in the day.
Yeah, you had the cutting edge technology right in the beginning.
1988. Yes,
Yeah.
It looked like a briefcase.
And this was a mobile phone, right?
This
or
was a
car phone. We used to call them car phones.
It was a mobile phone because car phones before that, the battery took up basically the whole trunk.
That's
right. So here it was. I thought I was, cutting edge,
Sure.
and everybody.
And you were.
Oh, and everybody that I was taking around in my car, because I was in real estate back then, they always would want to start using the phone. Can I use it? And everyone, the same thing. Guess where I'm calling?
Everyone said the same thing.
Yes.
Guess where I am? I'm in a car.
On a phone.
On a phone.
Yes. Yes. So, well,
You were very cool, Gene.
it was it was a lot of fun. I still wish I had it.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool, I
Because
guess.
I'll tell you what, that phone, more than any other one I've ever had, you never dropped a call. You had power that lasted because this thing was huge.
Didn't it press your pants and keep your beer cold, too?
I think it did.
If you had it, I could see you on Antiques Roadshow with this thing. And I'm telling you, oh, man, we haven't seen one of those for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've got, let's turn our attention to some of the stories that we have
All
here
right.
today. Folks, we've got a great show. We've got a bunch of great stories, interesting things that have been going on in the news this last week since we were together. We're going to first deal with an article, First in Time, First in Right. What does that mean? I'll tell you what. Folks, once you hear this story, you won't forget it once we start talking to you about it. A little bit later, there's a homeowner association, and this happened in North Carolina about a week ago. They had protesters, about 100 to 150 people in the town protesting the homeowners association. And we're going to talk about what it was that they found out. What were they so upset with? And we've got the mayor of Carrboro, North Carolina, who's going to be with us on the air to talk about that. And then we've got another a lawsuit that took place in Georgia where homeowners apparently were given the idea that they were going to have these gorgeous views and vistas on this high-rise property, only to find out that a couple years later, the developer built another property next door, even higher, and took away those views.
Yeah.
And so, of course, a lawsuit ensued, and we'll talk about that.
All right. We want our listeners to call us with comments or questions, 952-224-2668. Leave us a message, and we'll talk about it on the show.
That's right.
Was that the right number? Yeah, 224-2668.
That's right.
Yeah.
But now it is time for property management in the news. And property management in the news, of course, is brought to you by Pest Control Services. When you need to get rid of unwanted pests in your home or rental property, who should you call? Why, it's owner Greg Keener. He's responsive, professional, and a proud member of Angie's List. Greg's number, 952-894-9748. That's Pest Control Services. And the first story here we're talking about is First in Time, First in Right. What does that mean, folks? Well, what we're talking about is a court case with the Diamond Heights Village Homeowners Association versus Financial Freedom, and here's what took place. Apparently, the association recorded assessment liens against a condominium after the owner failed to pay the maintenance assessments for several years. That's not anything new.
That happens.
Yep. The association opted to foreclose judicially as opposed to non-judicially. And that's just a different terminology. We use here in Minnesota, we use foreclosure by action or
by judgment.
or by advertisement. Foreclosure by advertisement.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Action or advertisement. Okay.
Action or advertisement. Action means you're going through the court,
You
and
go to
that's what it
court.
means judicially. The non-judicial one is the same as you go by advertisement, or you advertise, you
post notice. Yeah.
that there is money that is owed. Yes.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was the process they went through. They received the judgment, the association. They obtained the judgment. However,
So it was judged in their favor. the
in their
association.
favor.
Okay.
Yep. And the judgment lien was never recorded. And as
I see trouble brewing.
yes, that's exactly right. And so as a result, the judgment lien was not reflected on the property's title.
Right. That's
Okay.
why you file stuff, is so it shows up on the title.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so here's what happened. So the association learned that the owner that they had obtained this judgment against, they had probably started failing to pay their other mortgage, but consequently, this homeowner got a new first mortgage,
Okay.
paid off his first mortgage company, and the association filed a second lawsuit against this owner and the mortgage lender to challenge the priority of the mortgage lender's lien.
Because the association expected that
They
in
were
this
gonna get paid.
refinance, they would get paid off because they would be the number one lien holder.
That's right. And had they gone through the process, had they filed the lien, they would have been okay and protected.
And they would have collected it when that mortgage was closed.
And that is why, folks, remember this phrase: first in time, first in right.
Okay.
And because what that means is that whoever's the first to go ahead and post that they have a right to property, that they have money that's owed them. Whoever's the first, that's the
Right.
person who gets paid first. Whoever's in second place, they get paid in second place,
So
and third and fourth, and
Right.
and so on.
California was saying that the party that records the lien first has first priority.
Yeah. We had something similar that happened, Tony, a couple years ago with an association we manage, but it was a little bit of a different case. We had the association took someone to court for non-payment. They got the judgment, and they went ahead and filed the
They
lien.
filed that lien. Okay.
And placed it. It's called perfecting the lien.
Sure.
So that everything was in place, only to find out the mortgage company that had the first mortgage, they never placed. They never filed their lien with the county,
But they had a lien, or they were not getting paid.
but they weren't
So
getting.
there
They
was
were
the
getting paid.
the
They were
opposite
getting paid
situation.
too.
The mortgage company was not getting paid, but they
No.
failed to perfect their lien
And
by
so,
filing it.
yeah. So here's what happened. The association turned to the mortgage company and said, "Well, we want you to pay all of the money that is owed by the other person who left." And they said, "No, we don't have to do that. We only have to pay from the
Right.
time of after the period of
Redemption.
redemption."
Yeah, after the sheriff's sale. Yeah.
And so, but then all of a sudden, the association's attorney said, "But yes, because if you don't, you were in first place, and your position just kind of goes away."
Yeah, that's right.
So, do you want to pay? Do
Interesting.
you want to pay all of it, or
Or do we own the townhouse?
or do we
now?
own the townhouse
Yeah,
complete? And so they kind of ended up having them.
Wow.
And so that was kind of nice to see.
You know, it's confusing even in the best of times, foreclosure law, and California talks about first in time, first in right. But is that true? That's not always true in Minnesota because typically if an association forecloses a lien and the mortgage company follows and forecloses their lien, the association gets wiped out, don't they?
As
long as they perfect it.
If they perfected the lien ahead of time and they were the first to do it, they would be in first position. But whoever's in first position.
Well, no, because in Minnesota, if you're the mortgage company, you have the first lien and everybody else is second. Isn't that the case?
That's not
because association liens get bumped.
That's not what happened here.
But you said that was because they hadn't perfected the lien.
They
hadn't filed it.
They hadn't
Okay,
filed it.
All right.
Yes.
I was just trying to make the exception that if everybody filed their liens and were perfected,
that wouldn't
the
be an
mortgage
issue.
company gets top priority.
Yes, that's
So
right.
I
That would
wanna-
always be the case, but that wasn't the case.
It's very confusing. And with all the foreclosures and the change in foreclosure laws that have occurred over the last 2 years, I always advise people to get legal advice because not only is it complex, things have been changing.
Yeah. I bet you in this story here with Diamond Heights versus Financial Freedom, I bet you some attorneys' E&O insurance is being used somewhere now.
I suppose.
Because something wasn't perfected.
Yeah, some errors and omissions insurance has probably kicked in.
Yeah, that's too bad that took place, but that's the way the ball bounces.
I guess.
Well, hey, we need to take a break right now, folks. That was Property Management in the News. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this high-rise condo where owners lost their view when the developer built an even bigger property next door. More after these messages.